So the truth about starting over. Starting over is one of the hardest things that you ever do. I had to do it about twice. I had to rebuild my career, rebuild my confidence, rebuild my health, which I'm in the process of doing right now. And what I've learned changed my life in this process. And today I want to share the truth about starting over. If you ever felt like life forced you back to square one, this video is for you. I want to show you why starting over isn't a failure. It's often the beginning of a great season for you. And it could be your greatest season depending on how you play it. So, part one. When everything changed. So, the first time it happened, I would say like the biggest hit, I felt betrayed because I was promised on multiple occasions that if I dot my I's, cross my T's, hit these marks, be a leader. Well, let me just be honest. The betrayal happened because I was promised that I was going to be able to move from one department to the next. They said they needed a year. They needed me to be a leader on my team, and I needed to hit these marks. Or I believe it was like over 90%. I believe that's what the mark was. And it was in a certain time frame too. And so I said, okay. Because I was already doing good and another department had reached out. So I owned up to my part. And then when it came around for me to get moved up, to get promoted, I was denied that. And so they said, hey, just do this. It's tough right now. Just do this. I just need you for one more year, and I promise this. I was promised this. Hey, look, if you just do this one more year, I promise. Then when your time comes next year, we got you. I did it again. It didn't happen. Then tragedy stuck right after that, and then things had just kind of went downhill from there. And then I ended up moving to another department, making less money, and just doing some things I just didn't want to do. And then I ended up getting out of the company. Long story short. And so that had kind of led me into like a depression, and I had to find my way out of there. Luckily I had family, and at the time I didn't know I was in a depression because I just knew you got to keep moving, but there's a certain way that you got to move, right? And so I needed to get my mind clear to know what the next steps were. So I educated myself. I picked up some extra skills. I started putting things back together, right? But everything wasn't together. I started getting my mind together back on working, but not necessarily working too much on the inner man. I had not made that full commitment yet to my health, to where everything else can line up together, but just working on getting my skills together. I started working on that. From there, I got back working. Things start going well, but then once things start going well, I then start taking care of my health, and then I had to run into some troubles. Then again, I was another promise that was made to me was not upheld. Lost my job again. So now I'm kind of like, well, my contract wasn't extended, but they told me that they was. So now I'm in the same kind of in the same cycle, but this time I'm taking care more of my health and my spirit. And but I should be putting a lot more the same thing that I'm doing now when it comes to my health and my spirit and making this content. I need to do that on the business, the entrepreneur side, and job seeking side. And so that's the next step, because now my body's kind of getting to where I need to get to. I'm making this content, so now I need to take those next steps. So that's kind of where I'm at. So what helped me out was I made a schedule, I made a plan. I said, hey, look, these are the steps that I'm going to take, right? I started putting something together and making landmarks. Okay, boom here, boom here, boom here, right? So, okay, this month I'm going to be here. At this month I'm going to be here. At this week I'm going to be here. And so, you know, there still is struggles, like kind of like with my health, with kind of getting that number all the way down. Because now like when you're a little bit comfortable, you start to kind of eat a little bit more. But, you know, we still work on our discipline. So, but what started to happen, and you guys can see from the videos, is that I started to get more consistent. I got on a schedule. I started putting together. I started holding myself accountable and start going through the motions on putting forth action and getting things done. And that's where it helped with my weight loss journey. That's where it helped with my spirit. That's what it helped with making this content, because I'm making a commitment to myself and I'm holding myself accountable. Like, look, we gotta do this. And the biggest thing is discipline, because some days I wake up and I do not feel like doing it. My body is aching. I am tired. But I said, you know what? I made this commitment. I can't do what I did 2 years ago. I can't do what I did last year. I have to keep that discipline. I have to make a commitment to myself. And I keep pushing forward. And that's why I'm in the position that I'm in now. I'm better. I look better. I feel better. My mind is better. And things are things are going in the direction that I want them to go. Long story short. So, what starting over taught me is that my identity is bigger than my circumstance. I'm not somebody that's poor. I'm not somebody that's jobless. Because I still have those experiences. I still have those skills. And so I can use those things to my advantage. Learning how to speak, understanding the language, understanding technology, understanding customers, understanding how to speak, understanding how to organize, understanding how to execute, understanding on how important a schedule is, understanding how important accountability is, understanding that all the skills that I have built are mine and they don't belong to anybody else. Understanding that I'm God's child, understanding my word, understanding that because of my faith, the Lord is keep putting me in the positions that I can be happy and give him all the glory from where I'm at right now is only because of him. Once you have that understanding, once I have found that understanding, things got clearer. And there's some still steps that I still have to take that I haven't executed the best at, but there's still action there and there's still execution there. And so we are still taking those steps. But again, discipline has been has been my biggest friend. So the next chapter, what I want you guys to do is I want you to challenge yourselves to stop looking back. And what I want you to do, I want you to write down what you think the next chapter in your life is. And I want to encourage you to be as consistent as possible in getting to that next chapter. And then once you get there, write another one. So, if you're starting over today, remember this, that you are not behind. You are being prepared. So, this has been a message from the Larry Motivates channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow, because we're building this community together. I'm going to be here. How about you?